From the breaking of protocols since prayer breakfast meeting to Madaraka's meeting, is it a show of political indifference or just the new order? And again, in a few days, the general elections, have you made your mind on who you're going to vote in August 9th, 2022 general elections? That is why we are here to dissect, discuss, and also analyze these matters. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to PLG Politics, Leadership and Governance, and this is definitely Maisha television. But before we go into matters politics, let's talk about this. Thank you so much for making us proud. We are the proud winners of the 5th annual awards, Kuza Awards. That is the award given by the CA, Communications Authority of Kenya, and we really appreciate for making us the best upcoming TV in the whole country. That is Maisha Television Kenya. If my camera person will zoom, it says that 5th annual Kuza Awards 2022 gold winner awarded to Maisha Television. Category is Upcoming Broadcaster Award TV. Thank you so much. This is courtesy of you, our viewers, for trusting and also voting for us. We promise to do even much more. And before we just continue, let's have a look at how it went down at the Safari Park Hotel that is in Nairobi. And also before I just usher in that video, let me just give you a brief of what Kuza Awards is about. The Kuza Awards, Broadcasting Awards, is an initiative of the Communications Authority of Kenya, CA, to recognize and fet broadcasters who demonstrate excellence in their broadcast in line with regulatory requirements. Let's have a look at how it went down.
And the winner is Maisha TV.
Maisha TV!
Congratulations, Maisha!
Piga makofi, piga makofi! Piga makofi, tafadhali! Piga makofi, piga makofi! Piga makofi! Unasikia hiyo sound? Yalungombas, yalungombas, yabalungombas. 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 Piga makofi, piga makofi! Piga makofi, tafadhali! Piga makofi, piga makofi! Piga makofi! Unasikia hiyo sound? Yalungombas, yalungombas, yabalungombas. Unasikia hiyo sound? Yalungombas, yalungombas.
Okay, I'm Rida Chebet, manager, Maisha Television.
Well done.
And we really appreciate CA and also our viewers. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Maisha! Piga makofi, piga makofi! Piga makofi, tafadhali! Piga makofi, piga makofi! Piga makofi!
Well, that was one of the best moments there when Maisha Television was recognized as the best upcoming TV station in the whole country. Perhaps let me give my guest this award and let them say something about the award. Let me start with Bushebi Jr.
All right, you want me to say Kongole? Kongole sana. This is a prestigious award. This is a 5th annual Kuza Awards 2022. Gold winner. This is awarded to Maisha TV, upcoming broadcaster award. Yeah, this is great because I mean there are almost 140 something TV stations
yes,
in the country, and Maisha TV being chosen. And remember, there's no category for regional TV stations award. So the award is actually national. You are either a national station or not. So competing with the biggest, some of the biggest TV stations and emerging as one who is giving them sleepless nights, like Kenyans say, is something that we really appreciate. Yes, so Kongole sana, congratulations to all our viewers and the Maisha TV fraternity, and you really represented the whole team. Yes.
Well, thank you, Bushebi Junior. Honorable Wakoli.
Thank you. I want to take this opportunity to thank Maisha TV for the great award that was given to you. I think as a person who's been here, I see a lot of good work done, and this is only a representation that you are doing a great job.
Thank you.
I don't want to repeat what Bush has said, but want to say that here from now henceforth you are a national TV, and what you're doing is at national level. What we do here is now national. Congratulations. I saw you representing the TV. You are looking very smart, very elegant. That was good representation. And we want to say thank you for this award. It's a nice award. As I carry it up, I'm carrying Maisha TV up, and I'm carrying all of us up. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Asanteni sana watazamaji, because it's also because of you that we managed to get this award, and we promise that we'll do even much more to make sure that in the next awards we'll be even tutakuwa kwa ile level ya juu zaidi. So now let's shift focus to our today's programs, that is politics, leadership and governance, PLG. My name is Rida Chebet Karing, and of course I'm not alone in studio. I'm joined by Bushebi Junior, political analyst, and also we have Honorable Dennis Wakoli, who is Kenya Kwanza politician, Ford Kenya to be specific. So Kenya has marked 59th Madaraka celebration that was held on 1st June. That was on Wednesday. And Uhuru is leaving. He made his address during the last Madaraka celebration. He said that amefikia mwisho wa utawala wake and he will be leaving office. What do you think about his legacy? Let's start with Bushebi Junior.
Why me? But okay, no problem. He has to leave. He has no option. Time is up, and the constitution is very clear. He has to, leave the office. There's no way he can say I won't leave.
What can you say about his legacy? Because that is basically what we need to measure on.
Yes, number one, the reason why I'm saying he has to leave is because his legacy depends on whether he wants to stick in power or he's planning to leave, because the constitution says he has to leave. So when he leaves, that's a legacy by itself, handing peaceful transfer of power. Yes. And I think he said that during the Madaraka celebrations. He said he's leaving. So that is a very good gesture. Mark you, in Africa, most presidents don't want to leave power. So for him leaving power and even committing to doing a peaceful transfer to whoever wins, he not only said that in Madaraka, he also said during the breakfast meeting, he said he's leaving and he's going to ensure there's a peaceful transfer of power. And so that's a huge legacy by itself. I mean, the country, leaving a peaceful country behind, I think that is a great legacy. And then number two, what I can say about Uhuru's legacy, out of 10, I can give him 5.
Fair enough. Honorable Wakoli, what can you say about Uhuru's legacy?
Yes, I want to first of all say it's good enough that from the prayer breakfast meeting, our President Uhuru Kenyatta said clearly that the task of a leader is to pass a baton of leadership from one generation to another. And he said, I am ready to do just that. Then that, to me, is a good thing for a president. But I will want to say that in terms of legacy, the issues that Kenyans will be looking at to actually rank President Uhuru Kenyatta is the big four agenda.
Yes.
which I will say that immediately he went to bed with the opposite agenda.
Bishop Virginia, do you have something to add on that?
First of all, when you talk about a president's legacy, everything stops at his desk. He's the head of state, he's in charge of the government. So every mistake, every failure is upon him.
Yes.
If a minister fails, it is not the minister who failed.
Sure.
It is the president who failed. And so the reason why I said earlier that I would give President Uhuru Kenyatta 5 is because I do recognize that there are some things that he has done well, but there are quite a number of things that he has also terribly failed, others fairly failed. On one thing that I know President Uhuru Kenyatta has scored highly is the ability to manage both Raila Odinga and William Ruto. Because these two are radical leaders who are capable of, bringing that division in the country. Okay? They are hardcore. If you look at the style of their politics, they are go-getters. There are people who, when they want something, they will go for it. And you can't just stop them. They will fight you positively, not like they will kill you, but they will fight you positively within the framework of the constitution to make sure that they get what they want. And so running a country with both William Ruto and Raila Odinga living in that country is not an easy thing. And I think on that he has scored. To be able to give himself a peaceful environment to do whatever he could not do, maybe the first term. The second term, maybe to do what he had not done, or to create a legacy the way he wants it. Like, we remember William Ruto had told him, said at some point, I can't remember the exact event, but he said, I think he was in the United States, when he said the president talked to him and said that there's something he's trying to achieve, his legacy. So he asked the deputy president to a little bit step aside, okay, so that he and Raila Odinga can forge this thing, that culminated into Azimio la Umoja through the handshake and stuff like that. And so later on is when Deputy President said, it is later when he understood that it was the Azimio la Umoja. And I think that's why he came up with the narrative of it is not about getting power, it's about empowering, the poor, and not creating positions for the leaders. And so Uhuru Kenyatta wanted to leave a legacy. And I think the biggest one is peace. He wanted to leave behind a peaceful country. Number two, he wanted a peaceful environment where he can run his own agenda. And I think he acquired it. Taming Ruto and taming Raila. Put them there and let them fight like crazy as you go on and do your own stuff. Okay? And then, control and balance wananchi, and to make sure the country is stable enough. I think for that, he has achieved.
Well, and during this year's Madaraka celebration, there was a notable dismissal of protocol. We saw the Deputy President William Ruto was not even recognized among the guests present, and also some leading dignitaries failed to speak during the same event. What could be the reason behind this? Is it just a political difference, or maybe there is something into it? Let's start with Honorable Akoli.
I think
I know Akoli is excited to that question. So.
I think, Jabet, even before I delve into the question you just asked, I'll want to say a bit about what my brother has just said. That, yes, the president created a good environment for him to work. But look at any powerful democracies, then a good legacy for any president will only be achieved when a president allows the opposition to be strong. Because the opposition will always identify where the loose ends are, so that a president in office will put the loose ends together. So when the president allowed the opposition leader, Raila Amolo Odinga, to join him, that is when the cost of living of this country began going up, because there was no control knob for this country. That is when he started losing his legacy. So we can look at it in both ends, that he created a good environment for him to work, but at the same time, he allowed complacence to be the story of the day in this country. He allowed himself not to be accountable to anybody in the opposition. But let me come to the real issue that you just asked. That yesterday was the lowest point of this country in terms of the democracy, the freedom of expression, and our constitutionalism. Because the deputy president is a de facto MC, master of ceremony of any national function. And in all the national functions we've seen, the deputy president will always invite the guests who have attended that function to speak. And whenever there is any visiting president, then he will hand over the mantle, and then the president will now invite the presidents to speak. But what happened yesterday? If you look at the program, one, there is nowhere it appears like the deputy president was part of the function. Number two, yesterday, President Uhuru Kenyatta had a cabinet meeting in the morning. His deputy president was missing that meeting. On the protocol, on the program of yesterday, a national function happening, there was supposed to be even the governor of Nairobi on the program to speak. The governor of Nairobi was missing. So there must be a problem all the way from whoever planned the function. And number two, there is very serious panic that our president is having. He has now realized that William Ruto is strongly on the ground, is moving the crowds in Kenya, and William Ruto is going to become the president. And this is making the president panic. But he could have not done it in a national function. What I expected the president could have done yesterday was to keep cool. Because he is the father of all these sons who was vying for the president. He is the father of Raila Odinga today. If Raila Odinga became the president today, then he will willingly say, yes, I passed over the mantle to Raila Odinga. He is the father of William Ruto. What will happen if William Ruto becomes the president? Will he show the anger that the president showed yesterday? Then I will always, and on this show will correct the president, that kind of direction on the National Madaraka Day celebration, which is the last function for him, he could have not done that. He could have gone over it in a very smooth way. He could have allowed Ruto to speak in that function and maybe find his time to correct it, because he was the last person to speak. And Rita, if you allow me, you realize that in the same function, the president went political by endorsing Martha Karua. He said that for the first time in this country, we are going to have a deputy president who is a woman. Then that was politics that President Uhuru delved into. So as a humble Kenyan, I want to say that if President Uhuru Kenyatta wants to live a peaceful country, let him not micromanage who is going to become the next president of this country.
Well,
that's my take.
Thank you so much, Honorable Wakoli. Now to you, Bushebi Jr., the same question as Honorable Wakoli. There was notable dismissal of protocol during this year's Madaraka celebration. What could be the reason behind this?
First of all, the question can well be answered
either politically or constitutionally. What exactly should happen? Constitutionally, the order is that you go with seniority order. And we know that it's the deputy president who is supposed to even MC the senior guests and then invite the president, who then invites his guests, and stuff like that. But for quite some time, for the last, I think, 4, 5, 6 months, we've seen the breaking of this protocol so much that it is becoming uncontrollable. It all started sometime in Kisumu, if I remember very well, when President broke protocol and invited Raila Odinga. And I think he did that for political reasons. And all these things, my thinking is that it's all happening because of the politics that is going on. And so we need to draw a line between politics and constitution. Like I usually say, the law can be very straightforward, but you can just look for a small gray area and capitalize your actions on it, okay? And so you might say whatever the president did was wrong, and but again, he will cite a gray area somewhere in the law and say, I'm right, I have a right to do whatever I did. It is not just President Uhuru Kenyatta who is breaking protocols. The other day during the prayer breakfast meeting, Deputy President was supposed to invite the President. After he speaks, invite the President. He also broke protocol and invited Martha Karua. And actually, I know that Kenya Kwanza team, they have a gray area to support and justify whatever Deputy President did. They'll say it's because Martha Karua is representing Raila Odinga. Who is Raila Odinga? Who is Raila Odinga in that order? It's order of seniority. When we go with order of seniority, actually, to say the truth, the deputy president is the second last person to speak before the president, okay? Raila Odinga is, as unpopular as that can sound, he comes after the deputy president because this is the deputy... Yeah, before the deputy president, because it should be, he's a opposition leader, although we don't have that position anymore. But he actually comes third after Uhuru, and then that is deputy president, and then maybe in a function then we'll put Raila Odinga, or maybe down there, because we also have the speakers who, if we go with the order of seniority in government, that is how things are arranged. But remember, there's politics, and there's also balancing of perceptions of people and emotions, So when you look at politics, now if I'm to answer your question politically, you should judge from, like I said, first of all, before I even make my point, politics is about perception, okay? What people see is how it makes them feel and eventually make decisions. Okay, the statements and the actions and the decisions that we are seeing politicians doing is because they want to create a perception. Okay, so Uhuru Kenyatta is trying to play politics. This is pure politics. It has nothing to do with, the order and everything. This is pure politics. Just look at a gray area. You want the deputy to speak? No, he won't speak, and that's it. Why? Perhaps if you interviewed President Uhuru Kenyatta, he has maybe a valid reason as to why he did not want Deputy President to speak. Because anytime the Deputy President speaks, he also throws in political jabs. Even sometimes political jabs against the President, and he's sitting behind him. And then he will, he'll do this rat thing where the rat will bite you and then in a poliza. Okay? He will throw a jab at the President and then say, I want to invite my boss, somebody that I really respect. Really? Really? And you even saw that after prayer meeting, they ask for forgiveness, and when they go to campaigns, they start throwing jabs again and abusing one another and stuff like so. Don't answer that question basing so much on what the law says, because I believe there are gray areas in those protocols that can be somebody can capitalize on to just omit the order or to adjust a few things, and it will be justified. But now to answer that question, answer it from the political perspective. Yes. we saw the president even endorsing Martha Karua. Okay? And we've seen the deputy president endorsing himself whenever he gets a chance to speak. So perhaps this time, the president didn't want that to happen. You know, every time the deputy president was on that platform, he had to throw in a hustler thing, a bottom-up thing. Okay? When it's a national function, we are not supposed to be. You remember when during the funeral of the burial of Kibaki, the late president, Mwai Kibaki, he started talking about the hustler bottom-up thing. The best definition of bottom-up is the late Kibaki, you know, and everyone is just looking at him and, you know, like, what is he talking about? We are supposed to be talking about something else. Maybe, I say maybe, these are things that the president did not want during the Madaraka Day celebrations. But remember, Uhuru is first a politician before becoming the head of state. That is how the constitution is put. You are a politician, go look for votes, then get to office. And so being a politician, he will also capitalize on that platform to throw in some politics. So you talk about built the roads, 11,000, the things that he was saying. But again, he will say, you know, hata mkisema hiyo ndio ukwe, now that's politics. Endeleeni kunitukana huko lakini bora mimi nimwambia ukweli. Now that's politics. Judge it from politics. But if you do fact check, you'll find that some of the things the president was saying were not true.
Yeah, who is the winner in keeping Ruto away? Because today, Bush, as you said, the same deputy president, silence is more louder in politics. The same deputy president is whipping emotions of all the Kenyans because Kenyans are looking at it at the same political angle. They are saying, yes, it was politics, but he could have allowed him to speak.
The thing is,
so a winner in this scenario today, the winner is William Ruto.
you see, this is the thing that I'm turning into the other side, the Azimio side. He's trying to push me to become the Azimio guy, although I'm just supposed to analyze and throw in speculations. But this is the thing that I can say about the deputy president. The deputy president for the past, this is my opinion, he has intoxicated many Kenyans by rubbishing almost everything that Jubilee government has ever done. Okay? To be honest, there are things that have been done so well. Let me cite just one. And I know that anyone who is doing business in Kenya will agree with me. Initially, it would take you to almost 3 months to register a company. Today, you can go to ecitizen.or.ke or .ke, wherever, log in, register a company, and within 24 hours or 48 hours, you will have your company. You can do the same thing with KRA PIN. You can walk. If you don't want to do that, you can walk slowly, go to Huduma Center and register business as easily as possible. Go open an account. You know, service delivery in terms of ease of doing business has never ever gotten to this high. Were it not for the Jubilee government, many young people have been able to afford food, clothing, and shelter. Now, let me tell you where the intoxication came in. Okay?
Yes.
The bottom-up thing. Okay? And in fact, at some point, it was so bad that it was becoming, excuse me, a war between the haves and the have-nots, which is a very dangerous narrative. If you want to see poverty, please try and travel. Okay? Try and travel. And especially travel outside of Kenya. I don't want to mention countries. Watu wataniingilia waseme walisema country fulani ama watu fulani ni maskini. But to be honest, the level of poverty in Kenya, okay, cannot be compared to what you can find in other countries. Who did that? You know, wa Kenya pia hatujaona tabu tu ile vizuri. Kuna wazazi wenye waliona tabu na njaa some 80s and I don't know 60s and kulikuwa na tabu. They can tell you the truth. If you are able to, if a young person is able to gain money out of creative talent, okay, make even 500 shillings, afford food, clothing, and shelter, then you have a reason, not 100%, but at least you have a reason to say thank you to your government that gave you a conducive environment to do business. You cannot be on the roadside, mama mboga anauza, hakuna mtu anamuingilia, anaweza uza nyanya yake kwa amani, okay? Kutoka asubuhi mpaka jioni. Shida tu ni kwamba hajapata mapato mingi sana vile alitarajia, lakini angalau amepata kitu. Unaona? And then you castigate the same government that has given you an enabling environment that has enabled you to be there from morning till evening to gain even that little that you've gained. Visit other areas. Hakuna mambo ya kuuza nyanya, hakuna mambo ya kusema sijui tunaenda wapi. It is war, bombs, bullets, mugging and all kinds of non-peaceful acts. People should thank the government of Kenya. It has done quite well. So for William Ruto to come and rubbish everything that they have done, okay, it is wrong. You are turning people against the president. Yet, actually, if we go on records, there are things that the president has done, and these things have been done so well. Why is the deputy president making a lot of noise, rubbishing almost everything? Right now, there's an expressway that was built in Nairobi. Okay? You know, siasa, technicalities kuexplainia mtu benefit ya expressway ni ngumu sana, Rida Chebet. It is not easy for somebody to explain to you that tunajenga hii barabara na mtu anajua alikula lunch peke yake na hakukula breakfast na supper hata kula. Okay? But at least amekula lunch. Ni ngumu sana kumuexplainia kwamba hii barabara itakusaidia. Swali ya kwanza atakuuliza, nitakula barabara? Lakini tukienda kwa ukweli, that infrastructure kama haitamsaidia yeye immediately, itasaidia mtoto wake. Mtoto wake ndiye anaenda kufanya biashara, atabeba aje nyanya, atabeba aje mahindi kutoka Trans Nzoia afikishe Nairobi. Mimi niko Githurai, wewe uko Trans Nzoia Kitale, ninataka mahindi, utanifikishia namna gani? Wewe mwenye ulikuwa unauliza unasema nitakula barabara. If we don't build infrastructure, how will we grow? So for Deputy President to rubbish almost everything that the government has been doing, it is wrong. And at the same time, let me just finish this one point, because I know Dennis is going to come back and counter this. So let me just finish my point, and then I'll stop. It is wrong for him to rubbish everything. And then any chance of something good that the government has done, the deputy president is the first person to come out and say he's part of it. Any failure, he's not part of it. Umesikia speech zake, si tulijenga mabarabara, we na nani? Tumejenga barabara, tumeleta TTI, tumefanya sijui nini. And then on this other side, you say the government has failed. So when were you doing the TTIs? When were you doing the barabaras? And everywhere you go, you are saying the same thing. So who did it? Did you do it alone? Or the president was not part of this thing? So rubbishing and intoxicating Kenyans against the president is very wrong.
Well, thank you. You've made your point, Honorable Akweli. I think that
I want to.
You are not giving him justice, enough time to answer to everything that I've just said.
I need time to actually talk to my brother Bush, and Bush, I just want to say a few words to summarize what you said. Number one, the deputy president has never rubbished what this government has done. But I want you to understand, Bush, that the bottoms-up economic model is a global economic model that wants to empower more people at the base. If you look at countries that have prospered, it is very hard for a trickle-down economy from two people to empower the people at the base. And that's why, just allow me,
just want to explain the point that he has made. I've not understood
just allow me to finish so that you don't interject.
Okay.
That the reason why the deputy president is not rubbishing the projects that are there, but is saying, I have worked with my friend. You remember the president, the deputy president, anytime he speaks, he says, my friend, the president.
I say that, but there's also something else he says.
And Bush, you realize that these are guys who have worked very well. In fact, today, if you know you have a very keen politician, sometimes people think that is President Uhuru playing a prank with Raila Odinga. Is there an undercard politics between William Ruto and Raila Odinga and the president? Because these are guys who have a very good chemistry together. So what William Ruto is saying, my friend, the president, you have done a good job. We have built infrastructure together. We have built TVET colleges together. But now, if you pass over the mantle to me, what is my responsibility? My responsibility is now to go to the people at the bottom, prosper the people at the bottom, give the people at the base cheaper farm inputs, make them produce products at a cheaper price, so that even the people in the middle class now can prosper, so that the entire country is prospering. And let me tell you, my brother, you have said about peace. If you want this country to remain peaceful, you can only make that by ensuring that the people at the base are satisfied. They feel that they are building an all-inclusive government. They feel that they are part of the government that's being created. And in that case, you cannot create a company and you have no tender. All the tenders are done by the people at the upper class. We want to create a government where even a mamamboga in Chwele town can form a company and become a power broker in the national government projects. That's what we're talking about. That's why we're saying, let us begin at the bottom and then we go up. What was your question?
My question is this. You brought in the bottom-up economic model, which up to now, the deputy president is still holding consultative meetings, economic forums.
Yeah, sure. Okay? Yeah.
To define this thing called bottom-up. Okay? For me, and this is my personal opinion, I have failed to understand, and not just William Ruto, even Raila Odinga, I have failed to understand what they mean by economic models. When they say they want to lift Mama Mboga, they are not telling Mama Mboga the truth. They are not telling the young people the truth. Excuse me. That life, the economic life in the whole world will never be cheaper. Never. Ever since I was born, life has never been cheaper. Mkate ilikuwa shilingi 10, inaenda ikienda paka 100. Okay? So lying to Kenyans that we are going to make life cheaper, you are not telling them the truth. What this country needs is an environment, an enabling environment where Kenyans are able to afford the high standards of living. There are people living in New York today paying a bed sitter sort of every month at almost 300,000 or 400,000 shillings. That life is so expensive, but they can afford it. Why? Because there is an enabling environment for them to make that kind of living. Okay? But now when I listen to William Ruto and his economic bottom-up thing, he is not telling Kenyans exact thing that is going. Don't tell Kenyans I'm going to make life cheaper. Because we all know life will never be cheaper. Life will always be expensive. Bei ya mafuta itapanda. Remember, business, economy, and everything, this infrastructure is not just functioning as a Kenyan territory thing. Anything that happens in this world affects economy in Kenya. Okay? Let me just a minute. Just a minute. It affects anything that we are doing in Kenya. So when you come and say, I'm going to make life cheaper, what exactly do you mean? That is my question that I'm just asking. He's going to answer those questions. Number two, what is devolution doing? Okay? Is Kenya Kwanza planning to destroy devolution so that they can install this bottom-up thing? Because devolution was supposed to bring enough resources to the people. And we've seen the fruits of devolution. We've seen the fruits of devolution.
Thank you.
What is bottom-up and how is it different from devolution? And the CDF thing and everything else.
Kindly answer his question.
I want to answer his question in very brief. Number one, you've asked about the economic forums that Kenya Kwanza is holding. Actually, if you want to lead a country, you must give what we call participatory kind of governance. And William Ruto and Kenya Kwanza, with my able equal partner, Moses Masika Wetangula, they are reaching out to the people and getting the issues. They were in Western, for example, and some of the issues that people are raising is that they are producers, they are agriculturalists, they produce maize, but what is the cost of inputs for maize? So they are raising an issue that as Kenya Kwanza, when you get to power, the first thing you need to do for the people at the bottom to grow, to prosper, reduce the costs on farm inputs. That is number one.
What about the supply
Number
chain?
two, on the supply chain, after they produce their products, there is a lot of middlemen. The government of Kenya Kwanza want to introduce cooperatives to the people so that the produced products can go to the cooperatives, so that these cooperatives can protect farmers from the middlemen and cartels who will always hire their prices and then bring them back to them and sell them at a very high cost. Now, what we're saying is this, and Bush, if you really have been listening to this concept, devolution was to bring resources to the people. And what William Ruto is saying is, in the bottoms-up economic model, we want to bring the highest cake of the national government to the people.
Well,
so that the people now...
35% of national money is supposed to go to devolution.
How much today are we giving to devolution?
I think it's just policy and administrative issue.
How much are we giving? It's now at 15%. Eh?
Before we even go there, there's something you said about inputs.
Yeah.
You're talking about giving inputs to farmers and because they are doing...
Lowering the prices of inputs.
What are you doing to the manufacturers of the inputs? Because William Ruto is not talking about the manufacturers of the inputs. Are they going to... Is he going to kill other businesses to just... You know, how is it
I think, Bush, there is something you don't understand on this economic model.
Let him answer your question.
You know,
let me be clear.
I've really given I've really given you a lot of time.
No, let me put it in
because I was expecting Honorable Akweli to finish up, then you go for a break.
Let me just put it in the right way, the question in the right way. We have the input producers Then we have the users, the consumers who said they are farmers. Then you have pointed an accusing finger at the brokers, the people in between. Are you genuine when you just, name?
Exactly do you want to
I want him to tell me how Kenya Kwanza or Ruto is going to take care of the producers of the inputs, and why are they labeling everyone in the middle as a broker who is not supposed to be there?
I think Jebet, I think
The supply chain.
just allow me to answer. What Bush is not understanding is that on the bottoms up economic model, the first thing you need to do is that you must ensure that the products are available for the manufacturer.
Talk about that. So that's what I wanted to talk about.
Yes.
So
that's what I want to talk about.
For the product to be available for the manufacturer, you must ensure, one, you lower the cost of production.
How are you going to do that? That's what I wanted to talk about. I want Ruto to talk about that.
One of the things you can do that, and that is what bottoms up, and that's what Ruto is talking about, and that's what Kenya Kwanza is talking about.
He's not talking about.
You have not.
If you just let Honorable Okoli to answer your
if you allow me, because
Just
I've
allow
allowed you to speak, if you allow me, one of the things we want to do as Kenya Kwanza is to give subsidy to the farm inputs. If you subsidize, because like when you do talking about agriculture being the backbone of this country, then you increase the cost of living, you increase the cost of farm inputs. Then how do you make agriculture the backbone? So one of the things that Kenya Kwanza wants to do is to subsidize on the inputs of agriculture in this country. Once you subsidize, then the farmer in the village will produce the products at a lower price. Number two, immediately you do that, the second thing you need to do is you do value addition for the products produced from the farm, so that this farmer is cushioned from the middlemen I'm talking about.
Who are these
so that once you do value addition, instead of a farmer from Mianga today selling mihogo raw, he will produce glucose from the home-based industries in Mianga. That is value addition. That's what we are talking about as Kenya Kwanza. So that now, the middlemen are the people who buy. Like, let us be sincere in Kenya. Today, if a farmer in Chile produces maize, there are people who are going to come with lorries, buy the maize, go and produce flour, bring back the flour at 3 times the price. You are not cushioning the farmer, because this is the farmer who sold a 2 kg gorogoro of maize at 40 bob.
True.
And is now buying a 2 kg unga at 130.
So
you are not fair to this farmer.
My question on the lorry guys.
Yes.
Are they committing a crime? Is it a crime to do that?
There is a way we can call it a crime. There are businessmen in Kenya. There is a way we can call it an economic crime.
This is a capitalistic country. If I have capital,
well, gentlemen, I
can actually, if I
we are going with time. Also, there are other programs. I think that we'll have to post
if
there.
I have capital to purchase this glass, okay, and I find you are able to sell this glass to me at 5 shillings, okay, I give you 5 shillings, I go and do my own value addition and come back and sell it to you at 120 shillings. Am I committing a crime?
Well, Honorable Okoli will answer that question after the break. We are going for a short commercial break. PLG Politics, Leadership and Governance will be back shortly. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Amazon Gardens. We are located in Mumias in Kakamega County along Bungoma Mumias Road. The garden and hotel is a well set up resort that offers its guests the best of both worlds with a professional staff that ensures all your expectation is surpassed. Amazon Garden is home away from home every season with offers of delicacies that awakens all your senses. You can secure exquisite experiences at Amazon Gardens with additional offers in accommodation and conference facilities and a conducive environment. We have study rooms and all guest rooms in the hotel are equipped with a flat screen TV. The hotel also has a baby's swimming pool of its own kind. We also have a continental bed and breakfast, outside catering services and conference facilities. Every experience and food is at an affordable price, which simply paints a picture of a conducive environment that is home away from home. Its closeness to the Bungoma Mumias Highway and Kisumu International Airport makes your visit and family's visit easier. There is enough parking space and security is guaranteed. Book us today. Call 0711 592174 or 0759 012480. Our social media pages are Amazon Gardens Mumias. Visit us in Mumias Town beside Lexo Petrol Station, Kakamega County, along Bungoma Mumias Road. Welcome to Amazon Gardens.
Right, thank you so much for staying with us. You're watching PLG Politics, Leadership and Governance. You can visit our social media platforms, Facebook and YouTube, Maisha Television Kenya, Instagram and Twitter at Maisha TV KE. My name is Rida Chibet Karim, and of course I'm not alone in studio. I'm joined by two guests. We have Bushebi Jr., political analyst, and also we have Honorable Dennis Wakoli, who is a supporter of Kenya Kwanza Coalition and is in Ford Kenya Party under the leadership of Moses Masika Wetangula.
Baba wa Roma.
Wajakoya.
Baba wa Roma.
Baba wa Roma. Wajakoya is out of the race.
Presidential aspirant has been denied.
He didn't have enough signature.
Yeah, let's wait and see if we'll be able to meet the requirements. So away from Madaraka celebrations, the speeches and the drama that was there, let's now shift focus to politics, siasa sasa ya nchi. And before we go further, let's talk about Kalonzo a little bit. Kalonzo has made a U-turn and he has decided to rejoin Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition, and he has accepted to take the post of the chief minister. What does this mean to the politics of the country, Bushebi Jr.?
Well, when you ask me to talk about Kalonzo Musyoka, it's like we need to describe that fruit, you know, the usual fruits that we talk about, the watermelon.
But you know, his deputy, mwenye alifaa kuwa deputy yake amesema giving away does not mean that you are a watermelon.
I mean, they can deny it, but that's, like I said, politics about perception, and that's what we see. I see Kalonzo as just an undecided person, or that is his politics. Please, let's just get used to it. That is Kalonzo for us, okay? And that is how he bargains, and that is how he gets whatever he gets. So there's no way we are going to, we don't expect Kalonzo to be Ruto or to be Raila, okay? His politics is that kind. If you know, unacheza unapanga namna hivi, Ruto huwa anasema unapanga namna hiyo, unapanga namna usipeleke mbio sana. So Kalonzo is playing his cards so well. At first, I suspected he wanted to be the kingmaker, and I don't think he has dropped that idea where he wants to force a round 2. And then whoever Kalonzo will support will just scoop the whole thing. But again, if he's going to Azimio, then we need to find out exactly what the game plan is. And I've seen Kalonzo saying he has a major announcement. And we've been seeing his major announcements from the time of Oka. You know, they come out and say nothing. So at the end of the day, we just wait and see what will happen. But for now, Farasi Nimbili, that is William Ruto and Raila Odinga.
The latest report, Kalonzo Musyoka has dropped his bid, and he's going to support Raila Amolo Odinga, and he has accepted to take the chief minister post.
Why do you trust Kalonzo? Kalonzo will tell you, I'm going to the left. You'll find him on the right. Okay? So even him saying that he has accepted that position, trust you me, I don't believe it. He might change. Have they signed somewhere? Kalonzo will come out and say, we were to agree, but they did not agree, so I've changed my mind again. I'm going to support William Ruto. What are you going to do?
Well, Honorable Akoli,
I want to join my brother, Bush. If Jabet, you followed the politics of Mheshimiwa Kalonzo Musyoka from 2013, you remember the contest between Raila Odinga and Mwai Kibaki. And you saw Kalonzo was never decided where to go. And I describe him as Mutu wa katikati. He must have been a young man who wanted things to be done for him. He must have been a mama's boy. A mama's boy who wants everything to be bought for him. And in the 2022 succession politics, it has become very tricky for Kalonzo Musyoka because, one, he wanted to be endorsed the presidential candidate for Azimio, which didn't work for him. Now, as it stands today, even the East is very slippery for Kalonzo because, one, at first, all the governors in Eastern region were against Kalonzo. Kivuta Kibwana, Charity Ngilu, and even Dr. Alfred Mutua joined Azimio earlier than Kalonzo. We are thinking that even the voting basket is following more to the governors more than Kalonzo. So Kalonzo today, according to me, if you ask me, that is my opinion, is that Kalonzo can fall for anything. And if he says he's now accepting the chief minister, it is the best for him. But my real question to the politics of this country is, will the choice or the decision of Kalonzo change the voting patterns of Eastern region? Is he going to sway the people from Meru to change from voting in Kenya Kwanza to Azimio la Umoja? Will Kalonzo Musyoka change the funds, the political funds of Dr. Alfred Mutua in Machakos to come back and vote in Azimio la Umoja? The real issue should be is, does the decision add value to the coalition he is going to join? If he has joined Azimio la Umoja today, does Kalonzo add value? Politics is about numbers, remember. So if Kalonzo today takes up the chief minister position, Dan Manzo from Makueni says that is not the best for us. Mbui, he was on a national TV, he was very public and said that our Kalonzo Musyoka must be a presidential candidate. So even Wiper as a team does not agree with what Kalonzo has given info. So I will be waiting to see if actually the decision that Mheshimiwa Kalonzo Musyoka, who I respect as a person, because having been a vice president, is a person who needs to make a decision that should guide this country and give this country the direction that will live peace, will live tranquility, even after elections. Lakini hii mchezo Kalonzo leo ako hii side, kesho ako hii side, even to his children at home, they're really wondering, what does my father stand for?
Well, Bushebi Junior, there is a question that Honorable Okweli posed. I think that you can answer that question. What value does Kalonzo Musyoka brings to Azimio la Umoja on Kenya Coalition?
Like he said, I agree with my brother here on the same, that as a leader, value is based on the numbers in politics. It's not just a matter of, saying mimi ni kiongozi wa kitu fulani and you don't have a following. You must have numbers. So for Kalonzo, even if, like, it is true, even in my opinion, that he's been losing numbers, it's slippery. But I know he still, controls some good numbers in the Kamba nation. I know he still controls a very good number, and so and politics 1 minute is enough. One right decision from Kalonzo can actually sway the votes. It is now the value based on what? If we base the value on numbers, yes, Kalonzo has some numbers, and they are not small numbers. And has he lost some numbers? Yes, he has. And you've seen William Ruto camping there, taking advantage of that confusion and, swaying all the votes. Okay? And even you've seen there's more following. If the governors come together and say, don't follow Kalonzo, then Kalonzo loses more numbers. But at the end of the day, it's up to Kalonzo's firm decision, whether that decision will be right for the people of Ukambani or wrong, that will determine the value. You've seen he came up with the narrative where he wanted 4 posts. He wanted the health ministry. He wanted which other one? The energy.
The energy.
Okay. So when he wanted all these things, in other words, he's telling his people that, look, this is what I am bargaining for. So we are going to gain more when you follow me and back my decision. Okay. So that is what Kalonzo is trying to do. So if they buy into that, then he can actually become the kingpin and just sway the numbers to Azimio. But as long as he's still dancing to his own tune that nobody understands, then the value is there, yes, with some numbers, but I don't know if it will have a huge impact on the whole.
Well, let's now shift focus to some regional politics. Let's talk about Bungoma politics, Kakamega politics, Trans Nzoia, Vihiga, Siaya, part of Kisumu. We have West Pokot, Busia. And I would like us to focus more on governor's race, gubernatorial race in those counties. Let's just start with the Bungoma County, and in Bungoma I think that we'll also tackle a little bit about the senatorial seat, because in Bungoma we know that we have one of Kenya Kwanza's principal in the race, Baba wa Roma, Moses Wetangula. So we'll also touch a little bit of the senatorial race in Bungoma County. So let's start with Kakamega County, and in Kakamega County we have 2 horses. Let me use that term. We have the ODM's candidate, Honorable Fernandez Barasa, sorry for that, who is, according to the latest polls, he is now leading. He is the preferred candidate there with 48.9%, followed by ANC's candidate Cleophas Malala, who is in Kenya Kwanza with 42.3%. Based on the polls, let's start with Bushebi Junior. What do you think of this? Do you think that ODM is automatically going to carry the day?
Personally, I would say you should really trust the polls that are made.
But if you see, just before I let you speak, according to the polls, I analyzed at least 3 polls. You see that in this poll, Malala is leading, the other poll, Barasa is leading, the other Malala, as in they are changing. Yes, so it's not stable.
Yes, do the summation and come up with average of the 3 and find out who is leading. But what I was saying is the polls that are made the time when it's so close to elections, usually they don't make the mistake of the reality. They actually give a picture of the reality. And like I said, politics starts with perception. Perception then is changed into numbers. Because all I need to do is come and convince you, create a picture that you love, and then you give me your vote. So you become my number. So when you look at this, Malala has been trying to create a picture of a serious politician who is out to even make Kakamega County better than what Oparanya did. And he's not coming from a background, a corporate background. Okay, so his CV is what is at stake, because he doesn't have that corporate, background. Okay, he's more of a hustler, somebody who struggles to be where he is today, and he has done some businesses. He comes from a business background, but the Kakamega people actually, if you look at the sentiments that are coming from them, they want an administrator. Okay, they say Oparanya amejenga, ameweka mabarabara. They want somebody who will do proper administration. Please, if you cannot do better than this, please don't destroy this. Maintain it the way it is. That is what they are saying. And so Malala has been upping his game to be the person that can actually deliver that to the people. If you listen to his speeches, Fernandez already has that CV from Ketraco and that background. And so they're being judged basing on their CVs and their backgrounds and the corporate and administrative capabilities. Okay, so that is why most of the times you will find that Fernandez is leading in the polls, because they want somebody who can do administration. And Malala hasn't proved it like the way Fernandez has done it on the administrative side. In politics, trust you me, Fernandez cannot beat Malala when it comes to politics. Because Malala is very good with politics and mobilizing, grassroots mobilization and stuff like that. Don't joke with Malala when it comes to that. And you've seen of late, the biggest attack that Malala has been getting is from the ODM and, Azimio bloggers, attacking his CV, and you've seen him struggling to explain if he went to school or not. Why are they doing that? Because that is what Kakamega people want. They want an administrator with a background and a CV ya mtu mwenye ameenda shule, akona experience ya kumanage resources and stuff like that. That is the politics of Kakamega. And so for me, I think Malala needs to shift focus from explaining himself which school he went to and all those things, and let him just continue with his campaigns. His strength is in his campaigns. His politics is just top notch. Let him just stick to that.
Well, thank you.
I want to just pick up from the sentiments of my brother. Number one, Jabet, I want to appreciate Senator Kileo Malala, the way he's known in town. This is a guy who has made a difference. Remember the first poll that was made, Malala was at 14%. That time, Barasa was at 58%. But today, as you look at the polls, I want to agree, I'm a scientist. Polls don't lie. I want to believe that Malala has, having moved from 14% to now 42%. Remember the last time I was here on this show, Malala was up.
Yeah.
He was leading Fernandes Barasa. What are the issues that are making Malala to be where he is? Number one, Malala has attracted attention of women voters in Kakamega. When Malala made the correct decision of going to choose Dr. Inyangala, one as a woman, two from Kabaras, then he pulled the entire voters of women. And remember, in politics, women wake up and vote. Don't underrate women in terms of voting patterns. So women have woken up and said, now that Malala has entrusted women in his government, and remember when he was launching Dr. Inyangala, he said 20 positions will be given to women, even for the CEC's position. So Malala has already gained the women. Number two, you remember the tournament that Malala has been running. He has been giving $1 million shillings to the winning team in Kakamega. The youth votes are up and they are saying, if youth in this country are 67%, we want to make our vote count. So the youth and the women are going for Malala. But the middle class and those people who are already established in Kakamega are saying, no, let us go for Baraza, as my brother says. So there's going to be a contest between the youth vote, the women vote, and the middle class. Believe me, if Malala is not going to be destabilized by the people who are making him busy, as he says, the ODM bloggers have made Malala busy. Actually, they're making him busy to keep countering the propaganda here and there. Let Malala stick to his campaign plan, and Malala is going to win the Kakamega race.
Well, thank you so much. A nice point there. I think that your points zinaoana. Well, let's now shift to Bungoma County, and the rest is also tight in Bungoma County. We are seeing the gap is being reduced between the incumbent governor Wycliffe Wangamati and the Senate Speaker Kenneth Lusaka. And as of now, Speaker Kenneth Lusaka is leading with 53.6%, followed by Wycliffe Wangamati at 42.2%. Then let me just mention the third aspirant, Zachariah Barasa, at 2.2%. Let's also start with Bushebi Jr.
First of all, I think initially the song was Lusaka. Okay, everyone just wanted Lusaka back. If you walked on the streets, they were like, Lusaka is come back and save us. That was the slogan. I'm going back to save Bungoma. But again, Wangamati should be given credit for what he has done to rise. If you look at the polls that were made previous some 3, 4, 5 months before, Wangamati was very far from Lusaka, but right now he's closing the gap.
Yes.
And that can be attributed to the scholarship thing that many residents of Bungoma County embraced, and the way they actually communicated the message that this is what is more important for the residents of Bungoma. And that is what Governor Wangamati has capitalized on to try and build his campaign machine. Now, where I think Lusaka blundered, like the story goes, he went to 2 churches, I think, and when he was addressing them and kulikuwa na mchango, and he gave the church 2,000 shillings, and then the other church also 2,000 shillings, and promised kubai simiti na vitu zingine kidogo. And you know, propagandists are opportunists. Okay? They took that story and ran with it, and so the narrative was that Lusaka hana pesa. In fact, he hawezi fanya campaign, anaitisha pesa mchango and stuff like that. And so that kind of brought the star of Lusaka down a little bit, and Wangamati was gaining ground with the scholarship thing. Remember, that is just about when the KCSE results were being released, and the students, some of the students that they had sponsored, walikuwa wamepita, they were wamepita vizuri sana. And so during that time, as Lusaka was being attacked, Wangamati was being praised, and that's according to my opinion how he was able to close the almost close the gap. But still, Wangamati has a lot to do, because I cannot tell why Bungoma people they won't see what Wangamati has done. They will still insist they want Lusaka back, and the narrative na hii ukweli kwa wale watu ambao wanafanyia Wangamati campaign. Free advice. People claim that Wangamati hakuli na he's stingy. Number 2, they claim that he's arrogant. He doesn't listen to anybody. Okay, he advises the advisor. Yes, you go there to advise him, and he begins to advise you, and that is the narrative on the streets. And people say, as much as unajenga barabara, as much as unajenga stadium, but you are too arrogant, and number 2, you are too selfish. So we don't want you. We want Lusaka. Lusaka anakula na anakula na For that reason alone, people, Lusaka is gaining ground. And so that hiyo sasa ni siasa ya street. Tusiweke kizungu mingi ndani kwa sababu hiyo ndio siasa ya street.
Yes.
I really want to appreciate what my brother Bush, you really know the siasa of Bungoma. And Jabet, this is where I want to be given more time to speak about. Bungoma, the platform on which Wangamati won elections is the platform on which Lusaka is going to win elections in 2022. Wangamati came to Bungoma as a peasant. He told the people of Bungoma, he promised heaven to the people of Bungoma. He promised Mama Mboga that they were not going to pay taxes. Actually, there was reasoning, because he was saying, if a lady comes from the village with the boga worth 60 bob, this lady is not supposed to pay tax. He told Boda Boda, because these are the people who are at the center of the campaigns, he told Boda Boda that it was going to reduce the stickers for their motorbikes, which he didn't do. He promised the industrial park in Webuye, which he didn't achieve. Wangamati promised a motorbike assembling company in Kimaiti, which he didn't achieve. He promised that he was going to build a cassava glucose factory in Bokoli, which he didn't. He promised to complete the Brigadier Misihu Road, which he has not done. So the people of Bungoma are going to put Wangamati to account on the promises. If you look at his manifesto card, you'll see all that I'm talking about. And not to forget, Wangamati gave a lot of confidence to the youth. Remember, the reason why Ken Makelo Lusaka lost in 2017 is that the entire youth fraternity never voted for Ken. All the youth said, we have a Messiah in Wycliffe Wafula Wangamati. But when Wangamati decided to form his government, in his appointments, none of his CECs is a youth. None of his chief officers is a youth. Even the directors, count for me the number of youths in his directors. You'll not find. Worst of all, and this one, we have to put it clear, and it has to go to the media and everywhere, that Wangamati, all the tenders done in this county government, and that's why people are not seeing the dual carriageway. People are seeing a dual carriageway as a cash cow for Wangamati. People are not seeing the stadium. People are seeing the stadium as a cash cow for Wangamati. Because all these people who are doing tenders in Bungoma County, they're friends, proxies of Wycliffe Wangamati. That is why watu wakitembea hapa town wanasema hakuna pesa. Because all the money that comes to Bungoma town goes back to Mombasa and Nairobi to the accounts of the friends and proxies of Wangamati. This is what is going to take Wangamati home. And let me tell you, Mheshimiwa Ken Makelo Lusaka is going to win in Bungoma with a landslide. Two reasons. Number one, Ken Makelo Lusaka, when he was here, he endeared himself to the people. He gave trade loans. I'm sure there are some people in Bungoma here who have not even paid the loans that that Lusaka gave them during his tenure. Number two, he gave a youth fund that the youths could collect themselves and get a fund to up their businesses. These are things that are missing in the Wangamati project. Lastly, the issue of the scholarship, my friend, is a big scandal that Bungoma people should be watching. You are launching a 60 million scholarship program and you use 10 million to launch. The following week, students go to school and you write promissory notes to school. Today, as we are talking, and I'll come back to this show next week, all the students who went out on the scholarship of Wangamati will be home. Principals are crying, they're saying they're going to send the students home because none of the fees was paid. So these are the real issues that Bungoma people will be looking at. And I'm sure the Bungoma parent whose child will be coming home next week, the government is no longer dispersing money to the governments. Wangamati cannot raise enough money today to pay fees for 7,000 students. It was a nice idea, but it was a wrongly planned idea, and that wrongly planned idea is going to take Mheshimiwa Wycliffe Wafula Wangamati home. And I'm one person who is praying on my knees.
Well,
that Wangamati goes home. Well, the ground is slippery. Wangamati must go. Wangamati must go. Wangamati must go. Lusaka must come.
That is the opinion of Honorable Dennis Wakoli there concerning the Bungoma gubernatorial race.
I don't know if you can allow me.
Just 1 minute, then.
He has said quite a number of things about Wangamati. First is that the companies that are doing the roads and stadia and and all the projects are proxy companies that belongs to his friends and relatives, and
including his father.
Maybe you should ask him to bring the evidence.
I can bring the evidence. He will give me time. This is not something that is propaganda.
But if this is if this is a crime, why has no one taken the governor to court then?
I think it will be fair if you answer.
You see, there is time for you've realized that at the beginning of Wangamati's tenure in government, there was a lot of court battles here and there. There was a lot of petitions here and there. But you see, Bungoma people have said, no, let us not waste time in court battles.
But
let us allow him.
This is public money.
Let us allow him finish his term, go, and let us get a leader in office so that he can deliver to the promises of the people of Bungoma.
I think I'll just say one thing, maybe in conclusion on that. If the governor has committed any financial crime on these projects, including
but he's on the ESC list. If you've seen
but the law says you're innocent until you're proven guilty.
Okay.
So I don't see why, because if Wangamati committed any crime in the projects that he has been doing, including the scholarship thing, why is he not in jail then? Because that is the only way Bungoma residents can know that actually there's a problem with the governor. But right now we might simply look at it as
Bush, just 1 second. If we went deep to these issues we are talking about, then even this dual carriageway is an error. The dual carriageway is a national government project. It is not a county government project. Why should a governor spend more than 1.8 billion on a national government project instead of putting the 1.8 billion to other projects?
So I think the gubernatorial aspirant Zakaria went to court with these matters and the court threw away the case on the dual carriage thing. Then where's the crime on the dual carriage?
Then you've not followed it up.
But this is the matter. This is something. Let me just say this on the same, because anytime money is mentioned, you see, I have to say something. But let me say, there's something that Honorable our colleague said about the scholarship thing, that it was a good idea, but now the implementation was the follow where everything just failed, and now school fees cannot be paid allegedly because we don't have any evidence.
I've seen the papers in the newspapers something like what Mtv has just mentioned.
But this is the thing: is this the same thing that this is, to me, looks very similar, where you. Okay, what Kenya Kwanza is trying to do. You're not looking at the supply chain and other costs.
Well, I think that we leave that there, the Bungoma gubernatorial race. Let's shift to senatorial race. And in that race, we have 3 candidates here. We have the...
Go ahead, Rito.
We have the Ford Kenya party leader, Moses Wetangula, and that is the Ford Kenya party leader. Then we have Charles Kibanani Ngome, I think he's a DAP Kenya candidate. Then we have Herman Kasili. And in this race, you can see that Honorable Moses Wetangula is far ahead with 72.1%. Followed by Charles Kibanani Ngome with 16.4%, then Herman Kasili with 10.4%. 1 minute, strictly 1 minute.
I'll use less than 1 minute.
Yes.
The rest should stop campaigning and allow Wetangula just to take the seat. Period. Stop wasting your time on this one.
And
Moses Masika Wetangula, Baba wa Roma, the Ford Kenya party leader, is going to be the senator for Bungoma. These other flower girls, Gome and Kasili, should stop campaigning and try their talents elsewhere.
Well, thank you so much. And I think that I think that it is decided, even if you see the polls, 72 with 16. That is a big gap. Yes. Let's now shift to Trans Nzoia County, where also kumekuwa na kuchanganyika kidogo until we saw former regional commissioner George Natembeya complaining that the polls were funded. We see that currently Chris Omalo is leading with 47.7%, followed by Natembeya with 41.5%. Also 1 minute, 1 minute. Bushebi Junior.
I'll say Natembeya miscalculated a few things. This is politics. You get into power through politics, and don't underrate your opposition, your opponent, that is. And it's a tough race. The picture has been Natembeya is winning, but for me, I see a tough race You cannot really decide and say that Chris is going to win. Or, of course, when it comes to taking sides, I know supporters of Chris will say, Chris, you know, everyone is a winner before elections.
Yes.
Before Chebukati aongee, lakini Chebukati akishaongea maneno different. But it's going to be a tough one. Yes.
My take, if the election was done, immediately Natembeya left office, Natembeya could be the governor of Trans Nzoia. But as my brother says, issues has cropped up. And one of the main issues that is going to make Chris become the governor is what we call political responsibility. Kenyans are looking at Governor Paranya today, Governor Professor Anyang' Nyong'o in Kisumu. They have realized that people who have had political responsibility have delivered more than what we are calling as technocrats as governors. Reason being, they have realized that a politician as a governor, he realized that he has to balance many things to give him an environment to deliver. And that is what Chris has just done. Number two, Natembeya went and chose a Banga from Saboti. Philomena is a Banga and from Sabawot. In Trans Nzoia, the majority of the communities in Trans Nzoia is Luya, followed by Nandi, followed by Sabawot. So that's why Chris went for Nandi, Natembeya went for Sabawot. Chris went for a teacher who is a mobilizer of the people. Natembeya went for Banga, who can only produce money and cannot mobilize people. So at the end of the day, then you're going to realize that Natembeya's polls are going to go on coming down as Chris goes up. Because yesterday, Chris held a consultative meeting with all the Kenya Kwanza aspirants, whether UDA, Ford Kenya, and I'm very sure Chris is a politician. He has told them, whether who wins, make sure Kenya Kwanza wins the gubernatorial race. Therefore, you are going to see more mobilization for the people for Chris, and Chris is the next governor for Trans Nzoia.
Let's now shift to Siaya County as we wrap up this discussion. In Siaya County, we have two aspirants. We have Nicholas Gumo, who is using the UDM ticket at 46.1%. He's actually leading. And we also have Orengo, who is the ODM's candidate with 44.7%.
First of all, I think Gumo might take it. And my reason is this. If Raila becomes the president, and I know Honorable Akoli, I said if Raila becomes president, he needs his battalion guys with him in Nairobi. Okay? So why become a governor and live in Nairobi? Okay? So Orengo, you are needed by your boss in Nairobi to make sure, you form government and stuff like that. So for that reason alone, I think that Gumo guy might win that seat. And then number two, right now, if you look at maybe in presidential, elections, it's where you can tell people vote for Raila or vote for Ruto. But now when you start going down to these other positions, people are going, they're going for a leader of their choice. They don't care about the party or coalition where you come from. And in fact, the number of independents has really shot up. Leaders coming from all over. Okay, people want to lead. So that's why I'm telling you, I see a Gumo governorship in Siaya County.
I want to agree with my brother here that a Gumo governorship is what people of Siaya are waiting for. Reason being, you remember in the last elections, this was a guy that the people of Siaya wanted. But politics happened and he didn't win. And the people of Siaya are saying they have seen Senator Orengo more good as a senator. Remember in the last elections, Senator Orengo never put even a single poster for senatorial race. he didn't even go back home to say, even announce his bid. And he was voted in because he is very good in articulation of issues, but is not very good in management of funds. So the people of Siaya are looking at who can take up from Colonel Rasanga, and they're saying that Gumbo is the person. So I see a Gumbo governor in Siaya.
Well, asanteni sana waheshimiwa, and just maybe the remaining counties, we're not going to discuss it because I see that
West
our time
Pokot
is up. It's up. In West Pokot,
I think
we have Simon Kachapin leading at 47.6%, then John Lonyangapo at 44.0%. Just 30 seconds.
I'll use less than 30 seconds on Lonyangapo issue. I think Lonyangapo has been choosing his own opponents. You know, come be my opponent and you be my opponent and you be my opponent, because there's no competition there.
Because currently, according to the polls, Kachapin is leading, and Trace Semani gap kidogo ni kubwa.
No,
then his deputy is third. I don't want to mention because it has, I can say 2%.
It's just like I said, Lonyangapo is choosing his own opponents.
Okay.
My take is that race will be very tight. And remember, there is this factor of Kenya Kwanza and Azmio in West Pokot.
Yes.
When Lonyangapuo went to form COP, very associated with Azmio, and Kachapin is coming with Kenya Kwanza, that race is going to be tight. And I still see a Kachapin governor in West Pokot.
Seems like
for the first time we differ.
We do.
Yeah. Just to finish up, there's no need for me to leave this out. Vihiga County, we have Otichilo at 41.4%, then Akaranga at 26.8%.
I think that's going to be another tough one, which you cannot just say that so and so is going to. And I'm sure Vihiga is another tough one. And Makiu, the only problem with Western Kenya counties is development issue. Okay? The people are looking for development-minded leaders. And I think it's just last year but one, when the resource mapping was done in Vihiga and Kakamega. Okay? But these other counties,
nothing to show.
does Bungoma even know? Is there any resource mapping to know
Nothing.
like what you can produce, what you can do, where do we... That's why we see projects being, money being splashed anywhere. No priorities. You just wake up, and we should build a road here. Then we decide to build.
You just put, like Wangamati put a milk dairy mill in Webuye instead of putting in Tongaren.
I don't want to talk about Wangamati because
I'm not a politician, but the thing is, it's gonna be a tough one.
Sure.
And maybe, I know you'll not allow me to speak again. You've not asked about who's going to between Raila and Ruto. But I can say, as for now, by the end of the show, if elections were carried out, Raila Odinga will become the president.
That's good. That's why you are saying by the end of the show. But politics is dynamic. A night is very huge.
Exactly.
So by 9th of August, William Ruto will be the president. In Viga, as my brother was summing up, Viga is going to be a tight race. Akaranga is not a pushover. We must agree. Otichilo has gone to where he is because of the way he's associated to their coalition. And there are a few things that are pushing him, but Akaranga is a very strong candidate. So let's wait for the rest. But that one we cannot determine today.
Yes, thank you.
Are you allowing
so much
me to say something last?
Okay, just finish up.
And last, I want to speak to this camera and tell Kenyans, as I said last time, Kenya is more important than any one of us. And I will not want to see thunderums of violence coming up. If you remember what happened in 2007, no Kenyan today, no Kenyan woman, no Kenyan child will want to see Kenya burn. we want to speak to our leaders as you campaign. Use the words that can unify Kenyans and not words that can separate us and make us fight. Kenya is larger, is more important than any one of us. Lastly, I want to call upon Kenyans to come out and vote overwhelmingly for Mheshimiwa William Samoei Ruto so that we use the bottoms-up economic model to transform the living standards of the people of this country. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Do you have something to add on that? Not about the bottom up, because I know the discussion will be long. Just wrap up.
No, I would say peace. I would agree with my brother, Honorable Wakoli. Let's maintain peace is more important than any other thing. You can have everything, but if you don't have peace, it's all useless. So peace is very important. Let's keep peace. Let's listen to politicians and what they say. If you don't want to listen, don't go there. Wachana nae, ama tembea utoke, umwache. But violence should be avoided at all costs. And if you're a leader, please do not incite Kenyans. And I will also speak to the president and the deputy president and Raila Odinga. This nation is bigger than the three of you together. So please, as much as we do politics and do everything that you're doing, make sure that wananchi, they are safe. They are not part of the political differences that have been going on, or personality differences that have been going on. So that's that's my call to the leaders. Kenya is bigger than all of us.
Well, asanteni sana, asante Bushebi Junior, asante sana Honorable Wakoli, and thank you our viewers. And before we leave, we've just analyzed the gubernatorial race in every counties, that is 8 counties, and I'll just ask you viewers, according to you, in your county, who do you think will win the gubernatorial race if...
Like the way you won the Kuza Awards.
Yes, if election were held today, you can send your feedback on 0746 999 841. We have Siaya, Bungoma, Kakamega, Vihiga, Trans Nzoia, we have West Pokot, even Uasin Gishu County, we have Bungoma, we have Kakamega. Oh, yeah, we have Nadi County. I'm so sorry we did not touch on that. But you can vote. You can tell us who do you think will carry the day. And also there's a large number of Kenyans who are still undecided on who to vote for. I hope that by 9th of August, mtakuwa msha make up your mind. So thank you. Well, asanteni sana, and still I would like to appreciate you for making us the best upcoming broadcaster, that is the TV in the whole nation. You helped us beat the big wigs and become the top. Really appreciate. We don't take this for granted, and we hope that in the next year's Kuza Awards, that is the 6th edition, we hope that we will win even a much bigger award. Thank you so much. See you next time.
See you.